Today, we're going to trace a story of radical transformation. It's a journey that goes from the absolute depths of trauma to some really profound claims of divinity. And the wildest part? It's all documented, post by post, right out there on social media for everyone to see. Wow. I mean, what a statement, right? I am the second coming. It's powerful. It's almost unbelievable. But how does somebody get there? How do you go from battling homelessness and addiction to declaring something like this? Well, we're going to dig through the posts and follow that digital trail to see how this journey unfolded. So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, it doesn't start with these grand, divine claims. No, it starts in a much, much darker place, with a history of deep personal struggle and a mission that really feels like it was forged in the fire of trauma. If you look at his posts from around 2017 to 2019, they paint a really tough picture of a life in crisis. He's writing about addiction, about the brutal reality of being homeless, and about enduring some absolutely profound trauma. This period of just intense hardship, it really seems to be the foundation for everything that comes next. But here's the thing. Even in the middle of all that darkness, you start to see this glimmer of an idea. He starts talking about creating a community, right? A safe place for the lost and scared. It's a vision that seems born directly from his own pain, a desire to build the exact kind of support system that he so desperately needed himself. And this wasn't just talk. He actually put his words into action. He got on a bike and rode 545 miles to raise money for AIDS research. And get this, even after a serious crash, he got on a spare bike and finished the race. That's just a powerful testament to his resilience, His commitment was real. Okay, so this raw activism, it starts to evolve. And it turns into something way, way bigger. A really detailed, super ambitious plan to build a whole new kind of social and economic system. He called it the Miracle Network. And the idea was this whole interconnected web of nonprofits, all designed to tackle the root causes of suffering. This was more than just another charity. It was a radical blueprint for a totally new kind of society, one built on compassion and real mutual support. And at the very heart of this whole network was an idea for a new social media app. It was designed to create real connection, not just noise. It had this unique 3-level system for your relationships, letting you decide who gets to be close and who stays at a distance. It's a pretty direct response to how superficial a lot of online interactions can feel. And get this, the business model was just as radical. He proposed a nonprofit ad system where some of the revenue would actually go back to the users. It was a total challenge to the model we see with platforms like Meta, where our data is the product. The goal here was to create a system where users are treated like partners, not products. All right, so we've got the activist and we've got the entrepreneur. And then things take a really sharp turn, and the story heads into the spiritual realm. The founder's identity starts to morph into something much, much bigger, something he describes as divine. So back in late 2017, he suddenly announces this huge shift in his identity. He says he's now River Alexander, a being with 2 souls in one body. He starts using plural pronouns, we, us, our, to describe this new reality, which he calls a gift from the divine. And this, right here, feels like the first real step toward those later claims of divinity. Fast forward 4 years, and that new identity, it takes on a whole messianic dimension. He actually connects his own experience, which he calls dissociative identity disorder, to the story of Jesus. He claims that this experience of having multiple identities is actually the real story of the second coming, basically reinterpreting scripture through this very modern psychological lens. Suddenly, his social media feed just explodes with these prophetic declarations. He's claiming to be Jesus reborn, a modern-day prophet who has a royal bloodline going all the way back to the pharaohs. The hashtag Second Coming starts popping up everywhere, a constant reminder of this new divine mission he feels he's on. So what does a modern-day prophet do? Well, according to these posts, you set out to remake the entire world. He starts laying out this massive, sweeping plan to fundamentally reshape society, a vision that is every bit as radical as his claims to divinity. He calls it the Mental Pandemic Executive Order. And, the proposals in here are huge. He's talking about completely overhauling the justice and mental health systems, decriminalizing drugs, putting therapists in the highest levels of government. It's this vision of a society that really prioritizes healing over punishment. And he's not just posting this into the void, he's trying to get the attention of people in power, making these direct public appeals to world leaders. You can really feel a sense of urgency in his posts, this belief that his vision isn't just a personal idea, but a necessary fix for the world's problems. And there's this clear frustration that the people in charge just aren't listening. So, where does that leave us? I mean, when you step back and look at this whole journey, this evolution of identity, it is deeply, deeply complex. You start with a survivor, right? The activist who is forged in that fire of trauma. Then, that person becomes the entrepreneur, the visionary with this incredible plan to build a better world. And finally, you get the prophet, a divine figure on a mission to save all of humanity. But these don't feel like separate people. It feels like a continuous evolution, with each identity growing directly out of the last one. In the end, this digital diary doesn't really give us any easy answers. It just presents this remarkable journey, a testament to the human capacity for both incredible suffering and extraordinary vision. It just kind of leaves us with this question, doesn't it? In our world today, where the line between what's real and what's performance is so blurry, where does the survivor end and the prophet begin? And is it possible that when you're faced with just unbearable trauma, maybe the most radical act of survival is to reinvent yourself as a god?